YouTube, how are we? I hope you're good. Welcome or welcome back. In this video, I am going to chat to you about how exactly to get very, very lean based off of my own experiences getting very lean for photo shoots, also from my bodybuilding show in 2022, and having coached so many people to get very, very lean themselves. So I've got my phone, so I remember each stage of what I've noted I'm going to talk about, and I've also got a wee coffee. So I'm actually going to break this down into 6 stages. Those stages being expectations and sacrifice, environment and support network, sleep and recovery, training, nutrition, which is of course going to be goal dependent, and expenditure, so output. And then what I'm going to do is summarise everything at the end. The first stage I'm going to cover here is expectations and sacrifice, right? Now, of course, if you are aiming to get very, very lean, which I'm going to imagine that you might be interested in doing that, hence you're watching this video, hence the title of this video, you need to realistically, you need to be realistic and you need to manage your expectations. Okay, what do I mean by that? You cannot expect to be starting off in an extremely poor starting position, so much higher levels of body fat than what you would like, and have a goal whereby you want to have a six-pack for 3 months' time. It's probably not realistic, okay? So whether you sit down yourself or ideally with a coach or somebody who is going to map out that journey for you, then you can actually kind of realign your expectations into what is going to be realistic, like a realistic time frame for you to get into tip-top shape. You will also need to understand that there is going to be absolutely some degree of sacrifice. You are going to need to say no to some things, right? Just as I've done on my preps before, last year for my photo shoot and in 2022 for my bodybuilding show, I had to make a lot of sacrifices, man. There was a lot of things I couldn't go to. I had to say no, I had to tell people, which leads me on to actually the next one, which is about support network environment. You need to actually like tell people, right, that you are going to be doing this, that you're going to be focusing, you're going to be dialing in, you're going to be locking right in to get lean. So that's number one. You need to actually have a realistic goal. It would have been fucking stupid of me to think that if I wanted to go ahead and do a bodybuilding show, if I had to lose about 5 stone, to go from being 5 stone, say like 5 stone overweight, to being like 9% body fat for a show, is no realistic. It's the same as if you want to see your abs for a holiday, maybe this summer, for example, but you're carrying stones of extra weight. You might need to rethink that. It needs to be a realistic goal, because if you go in and you set the bar too high and your expectations are like way up here, but it's just no actually like feasible for you to do that, then you'll be disappointed. So that's really, really important, to set the bar at a manageable level where you can actually reach it. Moving on to environment and support network. Support network, I honestly think, is something that is really, really overlooked. One thing that you can absolutely do is tell people that you are going to be locking in, whether you're going to be starting with a coach, doing like a 10-week challenge or something like that. Tell people, tell your mates and stuff like that, and tell your family, because if they know, they're going to be able to support you. And by the way, if they don't support you, then maybe fucking, I don't know, fuck them off or something. But if it's really realistically, they should support you and what you're doing, or else like you're going to have an even tougher time. That's just going to make the whole process even harder than what it is. Environment is also a really important one as well. Now, does that mean you need to go to some like amazing top of the range gym in order to get yourself lean and in shape? No, it doesn't, right? But it helps. And I would say if you're like dragging your arse to the gym every day or every other day, that's obviously not going to help. So try and pick a gym that you like. Of course, within reason, I understand everybody has time restrictions. It needs to be near your work, you need to travel to it, all that stuff. Of course, whether you can actually get there is, of course, the most important thing. That's the overarching thing, if you can actually go consistently in order to get yourself in tip-top shape and get very lean. But it really does help to have a good gym and a good environment to train in, go and do your cardio, whatever it is that you need to get done. Sleep and recovery when it comes to getting lean. Now, I can tell you from my experience getting lean, doing my preps, and also coaching people who have achieved that level of condition, that peak conditioning, where you can see your abs. Sleep matters. It's really, really important. It's not just something to brush over and go, oh, well, that's boring. Like, oh, I need to sleep more, like, blah, blah, blah. You need to be sleeping a bare minimum of 6.5 hours per night. or that is going to start to affect you negatively when it comes to fat loss. So, and by the way, does that mean you're expecting your sleep to be perfect all the time? No, especially if you get young kids, right? Like that's something you're going to need to work around, but it helps massively. Sleep deprivation, I mean, I don't even need to sit here and tell you that. You can go and give that a Google and ChatGPT or whatever.
ChatGPT is fantastic. It's not ChatGPT.
Sleep deprivation will halt your fat loss and it will stand in the way of you getting lean. So make sure you're sleeping well, ideally 7 hours a night or more, but as a bare minimum, kind of scratching the surface as a 6.5. Recovery being the other part of this one. This is really important. So something that I very actually commonly see is you're trying to do far too much in order to actually get lean. So you might have done this yourself. You maybe start and then you go, right, okay, I'm going to do, this is it, I want to get lean for summer. This is it, I'm putting the pedal to the fucking metal, and I'm going to do 2 spin classes. I'm going to start doing the couch to 5k and doing like 2, 3, 5ks a week, and I'm going to go to the gym 3 or 4 times, and it's too much. You're not going to be able to recover from that, especially that higher impact form of cardio, to be honest. Contrary to what you might think, running outside is actually not the best way in order for you to lose body fat specifically. The best way to lose body fat specifically is a low impact form of cardio. When I've got very, very lean myself before, I have done no type of running or higher impact cardio. I actually do boxing sometimes, and any time, especially last year, any time my sights have been set on getting my physique sharper and leaner, I have removed all high impact cardio and done low impact cardio only. Why? Recovery. Your body can literally recover from low impact cardio way, way better. Remember, cardio, when you're looking to get sharper, leaner, tighter, cardio, you're not looking at cardio as something that you're looking to improve your performance on, to like titrate up and progress your cardio in a sense. But your cardio is literally just a tool to create a deficit. That's all it is. It's no something that you should be like absolutely busting your balls, sweating your pan in, because it is genuinely just you're going to dip into some glycogen stores anyway, technically. But the higher impact form of cardio you do, boxing, sprints, outdoor running, you're going to impact your recovery. So cardio is a huge part of this, by the way, is why I'm talking about cardio a lot for recovery, because it's quite difficult for, in my opinion, for 95% of people to actually, for training, to be on back to recovery, you would need to do like ridiculous amounts of volume. But 4 or 5 training sessions a week at the maximum, of course, to preserve and maybe arguably build a little bit of muscle mass as well. But mainly I notice it from sleep and also from cardio choice. Okay, so like the actual style of cardio that you're doing are generally things that are going to impact your recovery. Weight training, right? Where should your weight training be at when you are maybe transitioning from any kind of maintenance period or building phase, like as in a kind of like a bulk and improvement phase? What should you do with your training? Fuck all, nothing. Literally just keep your training the exact same. Your training does not change. If you are not training at the moment, I would advise that you do start, because then you're just going to get, you're not even going to get lean, you're just going to get skinny, right? And you might arguably even look worse than what you did before. If you're already that kind of like skinny fat way and you want to get like lean and sharp and that kind of like that kind of grainy muscular look, you of course are going to need to lift weights multiple times per week in order to achieve that look. So if you're already training and you're already in a kind of maintenance or building phase, don't change it. Keep training hard. There will come a point where your training takes a dip in performance, but this is a common thing as well I see, where you start a diet and you cut your calories down and you get in that mindset and you let yourself get in your own head and you go, right, okay, but I'm dieting now, so I'm going to end up getting weaker. No, bullshit, right? The muscle that you have built, that's what's moving the weight. Your food and your carbohydrates primarily gives you energy. Yes, it does give you energy, but remember, the muscle is what moves the weight. So if you just start a mini cut or a diet and you instantly go into the gym with that mindset of, oh, I'm going to be weak now, you will be weak. You will end up being weak. It's all about how you frame it. You must still train with maximum intensity, even when you are dieting. Nutrition, the big one. What should you do with your nutrition in order to get lean? So first of all, of course, you know you're going to need to create a deficit, right? You are going to need to create a deficit. And and there is no bottom, right? There is no floor to how low you may need to take your calories. Contrary to what you might have seen online, on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case is, oh, you shouldn't be eating less than this many calories. Well, it depends on your goal. If you want to get that really, really lean, like kind of like beach lean or photo shoot lean look, you will need to eat low food, right? If there is very, very fucking few people that do not need to eat low food. I took my calories, I was maintaining my body weight on 3,000 calories. In order to get lean for my photo shoot just last year, I had to take my calories to 1,400 calories on rest day, which is, by the way, just 50 grams of carb a day on my rest days. And to give you some context, if you're not too clued up in carbs, there is 21 gram of carbohydrates in one fucking banana. Right? So that gives you an idea of how low I had to take my food in order to get lean. And honestly, you may need to go lower than that. It depends on your starting position. It depends on your goal. Now, going into like limitations and restrictions with nutrition, this is going to be goal dependent. If you just want to get lean, you want to get lean for a holiday, then you are quite within your rights, of course. If you want to work with a coach, you speak to your coach about that and keep kind of like off-plan meals in and keep the odd kind of refeed day and going out to the weekend and stuff like that. You can work around things. I do that for a lot of my clients, for pretty much all of my clients. If they do not have an elite goal, such as a photo shoot, I will do that for them. But if you want to make even faster progress and you want to lock in, take them out, right? Especially, well, if you're doing a photo shoot, you'll need to take them out anyway. Right? That's basically non-negotiable. There are maybe the odd thing you can fit in. I've done my clients before, you can fit the odd thing in. But for the most part, the option to have a weekly cheat meal probably should be removed for 95% of people if you are having an elite goal like a photo shoot. If you want to get in that type of condition, or if you have like a deadline to meet for a holiday or something like that. But it is goal dependent, right? It's goal dependent. If you're really, really focused on it this year, you want to get lean, but you also do want to have that balance, then of course keep it in. Expect that your progress may be like 10 to 20% slower. That's cool. If you're cool with that, then that's all right. That's a conversation I have with clients as well, just to make sure we're on the same page. But if you want the fastest progress possible, then you're going to need to lock right into your diet. So let's summarise everything I've spoke about here. You must first have realistic expectations. You must go, right, okay, where am I at right now? Where do I want to get to? How am I going to bridge that gap? And is the gap needing to be bridged realistic? Is it an achievable distance away you can actually get where you want to be and set that bar at a level that you can reach it? Support network. Tell people that you know that what you're doing. That's really, really important. People must know. If you are going to really, really commit to something, whether it's like, as I say, like a photo shoot prep or a super kind of more strict diet, even a more strict diet than what you would normally do, used to when you went on a holiday or something like that. Tell folk. It's the easiest way to do it, and then people know. And it also adds an additional layer of accountability. Make sure you're not going too mental with the cardio. Just stick to low impact cardio. It works. It is what I have used for fucking years. It is what I program for my clients for the bulk of it anyway. Low impact cardio is your best tool in terms of like expenditure and steps. By the way, steps come into that. So I just walking, as of course, is also a form of very low impact cardio. That goes hand in hand. So make sure those are in a good spot and you're not overdoing it with the cardio, or even just pushing yourself to limits where you don't actually really need to. Don't go into the gym with the mindset of like not pushing yourself hard enough, or I'll just lift lighter weights today. No, don't do that. Keep pushing yourself as hard as you normally do. Nutrition, get yourself, of course, into a deficit. If you're on a time frame, that deficit is going to need to be a little bit wider, okay? So widening the gap. To give you a rough ballpark idea of a position you could maybe start at, take your body weight in pounds and times it by 12. So for example, go to a wee calculation here, right? If you weigh 200 pounds and you take 200 pounds and you times it by 12, that gives you 2,400 calories. Now that is not, it's a wee bit aggressive. It's not crazy in my opinion, but that will give you a very, very good starting position. So try that out. 12 calories per pound of body weight is good to start off on. Depending on your starting position, depends on your goal, you may very, very likely need to reduce those calories down from there. That is us. Okay, I hope you can take some value away from this video. If you do have any further questions, if you feel if anything was unanswered in this video, please feel free to tell me. So feel free to drop any comments, any questions below, anything you want to ask me from the photos and stuff I've shared throughout the video, from me getting lean, from my clients getting lean, anything you want to know, drop in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.